Chelsea FC fans, it is really starting to hit me that Chelsea have actually signed Morgan Rogers. It's hitting me, but I still cannot believe that we actually got that over the line. Also, some more news: Chelsea FC have won 3-1 against Crawley United. Badiashile could be leaving the club. Lacroix talks are going on with Crystal Palace as well, and we get into our preseason predictions in today's video. It's going to be good. First off, Chelsea FC have beaten Crawley from League Two 3-1. Not great that we've been giving up a goal in that game, but we all know it's behind closed doors games. It's probably a lot of academy players playing, so it really doesn't matter. Delap, Gittins, and Amiga scoring. Delap already tying his goal tally from the Premier League last year in a behind closed doors friendly. You know how unreal that is? Either way, I wonder if he'll have a better season, but at the same time, it's been said that Xabi Alonso doesn't even want him, I believe. But, I still thought Gittins was injured, so it's actually good to see him scoring and getting some game time. I thought he was dealing with a hamstring thing. I thought that was going to go on at least for another long time, at least until like September, October. But he's in, he's playing. It's good to see him scoring. And I also forgot to mention that Chelsea did play the 4-back 4-2-3-1 that we saw under Maresca a lot, or something similar. So Gittins, if we're going to play the 4 at the back, he will be playing at that winger spot, which is good. And it'll also be good that we signed Morgan Rogers on that left wing spot as well, because we all know what our left wing options are: Garnacho, Gittins, and now Morgan Rogers. I guess if he's going to be a left winger, we play that kind of formation. That'll be brilliant. I think that'll work well. And it's good to see Amiga get off to the running too. Secondly, we move. Badiashile may be leaving Chelsea. Napoli and Newcastle have been asking info on him, and he is not in Xabi Alonso's plans. That is fine with me. I honestly kind of always forget about him anyway, so it's not a huge deal to me at least. But what do we think we'll get for him? I'm really not too sure. 20, 30 million maybe, you would hope, but at the same time, it's Blueco, and I feel like they always get a ton of money for players somehow, so we'll kind of have to see with that. It's just with Badiashile, man, he was good for the first, 6 months he was here. He had a song about him, whatever, and then kind of just sucked after that. I always had high hopes for him. He's tall, he's left-footed. I think he could be great at times, but then other times he just falls off the face of the earth. And yeah, he's had moments, but besides that, it is time for him to go. We move into Lacroix. He could be headed to Chelsea. Crystal Palace and Chelsea have reached kind of the final stages of talking. I think I mentioned a couple weeks ago we already have contract agreement with him, which is great. And it's just crazy after this seemed like such a terrible window. Maybe it was the World Cup and we were waiting for that to end, but it seemed like we were having a really bad transfer window. Now all of a sudden, we signed Morgan Rogers. We could be in for Lacroix players we've been thinking we might get for a month or two now, and it's all kind of fitting together finally. Either way, he's a great center back. He'd be good for the 5 at the back in the central spot, even a 4 at the back. He could sit in that right spot next to, I almost said Caicedo, Colwell, excuse me. Again, he's 26. He's got the Prem experience. Let's take a look at some of his stats. Oops. Yeah, 26 French. We know that he's in the French squad. Yeah, he wasn't starting really or anything for France, but still getting into the France squad is good enough in itself. His transfer value has risen hugely since he's been at Crystal Palace. He's been there now for 2 seasons, played 43 games in his first season, played 55 in his second with an average rating of a 7.10. 80% in defensive contributions, 86 in aerial duels won. Doesn't really create many chances for center backs, whatever. That's not a big of a deal. 64 for shots attempts, 59 for goals. So, he can score a header. How tall? He's 6'3". Okay, that's good. He's right-footed again, so he'd play with Colwell. His transfer value is 53, and he's on a contract till 2029. So Palace don't necessarily want to let him go, but he's rumored to Chelsea, at least on FootMob, for 63 million. I think it costs about 60, 70, and then if we got him, that'd probably be the end of our transfer business, I would have to assume. But we know he's really fast. To any of you guys who played FIFA years ago, when he was at Wolfsburg, he had a super good OP, 82 rated card because his pace was a 95. I remember using him, man. Those were the days, so maybe he can come into here and be that useful as well. How do I feel about this? again, I think it'd be a great signing. I think it'd work well. Again, the Prem experience. He's won titles with Crystal Palace now, so he's got like title winning experience. So it's a player I definitely take. Could we sign a better center back? Yes, but we only have so many funds to go around now since we signed Morgan Rogers. But we'll kind of have to see how that progresses. I'm sure I'll be talking about it again later anyway. But let's get into the preseason predictions. Excuse me, I gotta sip my water. Our first game is in 9 days now against Western Sydney, July 29th. They finished last in their league last season. Should be quite the cakewalk. Tottenham, August 1st, they finished 17th. We know that. Absolute stinkers. Probably the worst team will play in the preseason. Juventus, August 5th, they finished 6th in Serie A. AC Milan, August 8th, so 3 days later, they finished 5th, so one better than Juventus. And then the John Durrell Tazim, August 9th, so a day after AC Milan, so it'll be interesting to see how those games go. But they finished first in the league. They haven't lost a league game since 2021. They only gave up 10 league goals this season and scored 107. So like a 97 goal differential, and they've won the league every year since 2014. It's an absolute cakewalk. I was going through their division. I should have kept it pulled up, but yeah, they just cruised through every single opponent. Like this is one of their like better years. But no matter what, they literally haven't lost a league game since 2021 in 5 years. And even then, when they lost a league game, they were still winning the title. So it really doesn't matter. But anyway, it's 5 games in 13 days. We got 2 games in 2 days, the Juventus and then the TASM team. I feel like I should know how to say it. I'm sorry that I don't, but whatever. So we'll see a lot of different players play in those 2 days, which would be good at least. Hopefully with AC Milan, we can get a full Chelsea starting 11, and then I assume the next day against the TASM team will probably be mostly backups. Maybe we'll split it. But, we'll see. I think there's a good mix of like the good and bad too. You got the Western Sydney, and I say bad. This John Durrell TASM team is a bad team. But again, they haven't lost a league game since 2021, so they're not even a bad team. But yeah, it'll be good for the first and last game of the preseason as well. Western Sydney first, and then them last. Tottenham we know will be really good. Juventus and AC Milan will also be good. It'll be good challenges as well. It's fun to play teams outside of our division since we won't be literally all year without any Champions League. It's embarrassing. And we beat AC Milan last year 3-1 with Esteval scoring his first ever Chelsea goal, kinda, because it was preseason. We know that. So I'll go into my very, very early score predictions here. For all these games, we'll make separate videos as well. But Western Sydney, I think that'll be a 3-1 win, just like the Crawley game. I think that'll be mostly backup players playing, maybe some starters in the second half. Maybe it'll be 2 completely different teams for each 45 minutes. I don't know. But it should be mostly comfortable. I think Sydney will actually score first in like the first couple minutes, and then we'll just cruise after that. I would give who I think is going to score, but I have no idea who's going to play whatsoever, so it really doesn't matter. Tottenham, I'm going to go 2-2. I think at this point, Tottenham have done a lot of early business. So they're going to be well drilled by the time we play them, while Chelsea are kind of still figuring it out. But I also made this prediction before we signed Morgan Rogers. So now that we've got him, and we are doing business a little quicker, but still Tottenham have had like Andy Roberts and Tonali, all those guys, for like a month now. So I think, again, they'll be well drilled. And the only reason why I say it's not going to be a loss, because they'll be really wanting to beat us as well, is because we never lose to Tottenham. And I've really only gotten heavily into Chelsea in the past 5 years or so. And to me, I would say our biggest rivals are Arsenal. And then people look at me and be like, dude, you're crazy, whatever. But it's funny because to me, we always beat Tottenham. So how are they rivals? But I just think that's kind of funny how, just to me, we literally beat them every single time. But if we are going to lose to Tottenham anytime soon, let's get it done in the preseason. I'm just going to say that. Juventus, I think that'll be a 1-0 loss. I think there'll be a lot of rotation this game since we played heavily for Juventus, and I think we'll play heavily for AC Milan. But I believe we'll get a lot of chances. It's just one of those games where I feel like we're just not going to score, because that seems to be a Chelsea thing. Juventus, we know they aren't the same team as they used to be, but of course they're still a really good team. They're still finishing high up in the table in Serie A. AC Milan, I'm going to go 3-2 win. We beat them last year in the preseason, and again, I think this will be a fully, main starting 11. You know what? I will say goal scorers for this game. I'm going to say Morgan Rogers, 2 goals, and I'm going to say Nicholas Jackson with a goal as well. If he's even playing by this point, he might get a red card and be suspended. Who fucking knows? But the John Durrell, I'm going to say a 1-1 draw against. They literally haven't lost a league game in like a million years. And I think we'll play a lot of backups for this game since we literally played the day before. No matter what, this game is going to be a challenge. And that's the type of team, also with Western Sydney, but this is the type of team where they're like, oh, we've got something to prove. We have something to prove to beat Chelsea, and that would do, yes, it's a friendly, but that would do wonders for a team like that. Like, I can imagine these fans, they know they're going to win the league. They know all that. Now, you get to play Chelsea FC in a friendly, and you have a chance to make history and be a very, very, one of the top 10 clubs of all time. Of course, I think that we're the best ever, of course. But they won't be treating it like a friendly is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, the players I will be watching out for. Of course, now Rogers is a huge player we will be looking out for. Spoke yesterday on him, 117 record signing. Preseason will be big for him. It's just going to be a real struggle if even after, yes, it's preseason, but even after preseason, if he has like no goal contributions, good luck to him. Because if he comes into the season with a 117 price tag, the 007 already starting and looking brilliant for rival fans, the media and everybody from other teams and just social media and everything in general is going to be on him like crazy. So he just needs to be careful. He needs to start preseason well. Like, there already is so much pressure on him because Chelsea fans really, really like him too. We've been wanting this signing. So he just got a lot to prove, but, I can't wait to watch him play. Obviously, players like Esteval and Palmer we're looking out for since Esteval was coming off an injury. Let's see if he even plays preseason, but I spoke on it a couple days ago with the beep test. It looks like he's fully recovered now if you're coming third in the beep test, and then same with Palmer, he came second, or maybe it was the other way around. But with those two being so high up, like, surely I think they're not really injured anymore. Palmer, we know he was dealing with injuries all last season, so let's see what them two can produce. Quenda, a lot of people like me have high hopes for this man, but I'm just more interested in see where he's playing, because if we play the 4-2-3-1, of course he's going to play right wing. Keep it simple, maybe a little cam, maybe a little left wing. But if we play the 3-4, will he play wing back? Probably, because I don't really know how well he can play cam. So he'd probably play a right, left wing back, which I just don't know if he'd be that great at. But it'll definitely be a big adjustment coming into the season. And I think we'll keep him around because he was already at Sporting. We'll talk about Satpayev, but Quenda, he was already at Sporting, so he's already played at like a pretty high-level club. So I think he will come in and stay this season. But then a player like Satpayev, I always want to say Spatev, but I don't know why. But will he go on loan? I think Strasbourg would be a good place for him, of course. His sister club, we can keep good tabs on him, whatever. But going from the league and division he's in Kazakhstan, to the Premier League, I think that's going to be way too big of a jump for him, But we'll see how preseason goes. Maybe play him against Juventus or AC Milan to see if he can even handle himself at all. But he scored a goal against Belgium, so at least, he can do a little bit here and there. We've seen it. But again, yeah, he's just playing in such a low league. I just don't. It's just going to be such an insane jump to this level. And then we'll talk about Emmanuel Amiga. We signed him a little bit ago, and it's just funny because I haven't really seen any hype for him just because we've signed all these other players, and we signed him like 6 months ago. But I think he'll 100% have a role in this season since we just bought him. We're not going to loan him out again, and we're not going to sell him, so might as well just keep him around. It's going to make it interesting to see what we do with Satpayev, Gui, Delap, all the strikers we have. We have way too many strikers now. It's unreal. Just we need to get rid of half of them. But does he come with bad attitude? Because I remember a clip of him trying to talk to the Strasbourg fans, and the Strasbourg fans weren't having it. I don't know why, but does this man have a bad attitude? Like, is he just one of those players? So we'll kind of see how that goes. But then Nico Jackson, lastly, has he gotten better since we last had him? Does he have a better killer instinct? And at this level, we want to be contenders, so we don't want someone who's going to be missing a lot of chances. So again, he goes into the striker conversation. You could say all the strikers are people to watch out for. You can say the entire team, of course, is somebody to watch out for. Obviously, all the new signings will be, Rogers, Palestra. It'll be interesting to watch them. It'll be fun to watch them all, see what they can do. But, this preseason is going to be absolutely massive. We've signed the players. Now we got to start getting rid of players. But again, 3-1 win against Crawley, brilliant. Badiashile could be leaving. It's probably good for him, too. I think it's time. Lacroix could be headed to Chelsea, so we'll have to see what happens in the future. Come on, you Blues.